In life, have you ever noticed that problems don't just vanish when we try to ignore them? It's almost like they have a life of their own, growing bigger and bigger the more we avoid them. And fear. Fear loves it when we run. It gets stronger, louder, and more intimidating with every step we take away from it. This reminds me of a story about a kind little rabbit who lived deep inside a quiet, peaceful forest. This rabbit had a cozy little home in a cave, and he was loved by everyone in the forest. Why? Because he was always the first to lend a paw, to help anyone in need. He was generous, he was kind, and he had a heart full of warmth. But one day, after weeks of munching on nothing but boring, plain leaves, something wonderful happened. He stumbled upon a carrot. Not just any carrot, but a big, bright, juicy one, his absolute favorite food in the whole world. Clutching his precious treasure, he practically bounced all the way home, his mind filled with delicious thoughts of a peaceful, satisfying meal. He could almost taste it already, but, as life sometimes goes, his happiness was cut short. As he was hurrying near the riverbank, his foot slipped on a whetstone. The carrot flew out of his grasp, tumbled into the water, and was quickly swept away by the strong current. He watched in horror as it disappeared under a rushing waterfall, tired, heartbroken, and with a rumbling, empty stomach. The poor rabbit dragged himself back home. His heart felt as heavy as a stone. But his troubles weren't over yet. As he approached his own cave, his front door, a terrifying, deep voice thundered from within. "I break the bones of rhinos. I crush mighty elephants into dust." Fear shot through the rabbit like an arrow. He was frozen in place, his fur standing on end. Who or what had taken over his home? Too scared to go in, he ran for help. He first found the wolf, known for his cunning and strength. "Please," the rabbit pleaded. "There's a monster in my cave." The wolf, confident in his abilities, swaggered up to the cave. He heard the booming voice and immediately turned and ran without a second thought. The rabbit was stunned. Next, he found the tiger, the fierce king of the jungle. The tiger listened, scoffed, and went to confront the beast. But he too heard the threat and fled, his tail between his legs. The rabbit's hope began to fade. He even managed to persuade the powerful rhino and the gigantic elephant to help. But each one, upon hearing that terrible, bone-chilling voice, turned and ran away in fear. The strongest animals in the forest were all terrified. The rabbit felt completely hopeless. His home was lost, his favorite meal was gone, and now he was all alone. Just as he was about to give up, a tiny frog hopped up beside him. "I'll try," the frog said in his small, calm voice. All the other animals, who were watching from a safe distance, started to laugh. A tiny frog. What could he possibly do against a monster that scared away a tiger and an elephant? But the frog wasn't discouraged. He just hopped steadily towards the dark entrance of the cave. He stood right at the edge and, with a surprisingly bold croak, said, "I've heard your boasts. Now come out and face me." There was a moment of complete silence. The forest held its breath. Then, slowly, something started to crawl out from the shadows of the cave. It wasn't a monster. It wasn't a beast that could crush elephants. It was just a tiny, fuzzy caterpillar. Everyone was speechless. The caterpillar looked around, confused, and squeaked, "I break the bones of rhinos and crush mighty elephants to dust. When I chew my food," the cave's unique shape had acted like a natural amplifier, turning the caterpillar's tiny, munching sounds and weak voice into a terrifying, thunderous roar. The fear that had paralyzed the entire forest was never even real. It was just an echo, a shadow. That day, the rabbit learned a lesson he would never forget. He learned that small problems, when we ignore them and let them fester in the dark, can grow into terrifying monsters in our minds. He learned that courage doesn't always have to roar like a lion. Sometimes, it just quietly hops forward like a little frog. And most importantly, he learned that the single bravest step you can ever take is the one you take towards your fear, instead of running away from it. So next time you feel that shadow of fear creeping in, remember the rabbit and the caterpillar. Take a deep breath and take that one small step forward. You might just find that the monster you were so afraid of was nothing more than an echo all along. Thanks for watching. And don't forget to follow 4 more stories that make you think. See you next time.